What is up, gentlemen? This is the ultimate guide to mastering your life. So if you feel like you have untapped potential, you want more out of life, you know you're missing something, this is going to be the exact step-by-step guide to conquering and dominating your life in 2025 or whenever you're watching this video. All right, let's dive right into it. So I'm going to give you everything I've learned and what I would do if I had to start over. So this was me back when I was, I don't know exactly, maybe 15, 16 years old. As you can see, pretty much had zero muscle. I was skinny, looking kind of goofy, had some acne, terrible haircut. I was sitting at my birthday looking just goofy as hell, man. And this is what I would tell myself if I can go back in time to when I was 15, so I could absolutely change the entire course of my life. So these are going to be all the chapters that we cover in this video. We're going to be talking about how health is your wealth and how to optimize that. The morning routine to give you the best possible chance of success throughout the day, becoming high frequency, this is absolutely essential, manifesting your dream life, how action beats everything, going into mentorship, and then the best skills to develop, and the absolute best way to make money online. So those are going to be the chapters in the outline for this video. If that sounds exciting, then stick around for the entire thing, because this is 100% going to change your life. Let's dive into it. So health is wealth. Getting your health in order should be your number one priority. You need to tackle the basics: gym, sleep, and diet. If you get these three things dialed in, you're going to be 90% better than everybody else. So we're going to dive into these a little more on further slides, but just to kind of recap, gym, you're going to want to weight train 3 to 4 times per week, progressively overloading lifts. Sleep, get about 7 to 9 hours of sleep regularly every single night. Diet, you're going to want to eat whole foods, track your calories, and bulk or cut depending on your current circumstances and what your current situation is looking like in terms of, like, are you overweight, are you skinny fat, or do you already have all the muscle you need, then you can just maintain calories. So we're going to dive into each one of those a little bit more in depth now. So the gym. So you're going to want to stick to the compound exercises, being squats, RDLs or deadlifts, pull-ups, bench, dips, and shoulder press. If you stick to the compound exercises and you progressively overload those, you are going to be plenty big, my friend. And then you're going to want to add some necessary isolation. You're obviously going to need to hit your arms a bit, some sides of the shoulder like the side and rear delt, the rotator cuff, that's super important for preventing injuries, doing external rotation, some band work to warm up. That's what I always do. I've been doing it for the last 3 years. And then you're going to want to train some abs as well to get the actual definition. It just makes you look awesome. So when it comes to progressive overload, this is the exact way that you're going to do it. See, for the longest time, I only was able to make progress from a beginner to intermediate because I didn't have a serious progressive overload system. I just thought, okay, I'll either try and increase weight or increase reps. And that's going to lead you to failure. So what you're going to want to do is have a set system. And this is the system I've been using for the last 2-ish years now that's allowed me to actually get stronger and actually get bigger as an advanced lifter. So what you're going to do is you're going to pick a weight that you think you can do 10 reps with. So let's say you take incline dumbbell bench and you get 10 with the 70s. Now what you're going to do is you're going to take that weight, and that's your weight. You're going to stick to 70 pounds, and every single workout that you're going to do, you're going to use the exact same exercise, and you're just going to try and get one more rep until you go up to 15. And then once you hit 15, now you circle back, and now you can increase the weight. So you can go up to 75 pounds, and then you should be around that 10-ish reps. And then you do the same exact thing indefinitely. And this is how you're actually going to ingrain that weight into the muscle. One of the things that people do is they try and make these leaps in weight so quickly, and their muscles haven't had time to adapt and get used to that weight. If you're jumping from 70 or 60 pounds to 70 to 80 in just a few workouts, your body hasn't had the time to adapt, and that's where injuries come in. So using something like this, where you're using a medium to heavy weight, and you're really sticking to the higher reps in the hypertrophic rep range, this is going to allow you to get massive, seriously massive. You're going to be training so hard, you're going to be going to failure, but doing it in a safe way. You're not doing 1-rep maxes. If you still do 1-rep maxes, you need to stop doing that immediately. I haven't done one for over 3 years now. These are the only way that this is the only way I max out, is by the amount of reps and making sure I'm pushing it every single time, and then increasing the weight and doing the whole thing over again. So it's a very simple system, but this is going to allow you to get big, and I'd highly recommend you open a sheet and notes on your phone. If you have an Apple phone, like an iPhone, you can just put the exercise and then a checklist, and then you can put, for example, like we were saying, the incline dumbbell is your exercise. You can put 70 pounds for 10, and then the next time you can put 70 pounds for 11 plus, and then you actually fill in what it is that you hit. So that's what I do. So being in peak masculine shape is a cheat code to life. And this is why this is one of the first things that we're covering. As a young man, you will gain the admiration of women, the respect of men, and get opportunities you otherwise would never have gotten. This is in business, in life. People just like being around attractive people, and one of the best things you can do to be attractive is going to be to maximize your physical fitness, and this shows discipline, it shows consistency, and kind of just that winner's mindset that people want to be around. So this is the first thing you should develop if you want to really just improve your life. This is going to be absolutely a necessity. We got it right there. All right, next slide. Sleep. You need to get 7 to 9 hours. This is necessary if you want to be a high-performing man. What does sleep even do for you? Physical recovery, mental health, cognitive function, balanced hormones, emotional stability, and pretty much every single life function that you live out is made better by sleep. If you go without sleep for too long, all these things start going away. You're going to have a harder time being disciplined, thinking clearly. So prioritizing your sleep is one of the best things that you can do, and I'm going to give you some tips to have better sleep. So the first thing you can do is have a consistent sleep schedule where you wake up and go to bed at the same exact time. You don't have to be autistic about it, but for example, I'll tell you what I'm doing now in a monk mode phase of my life. I'm going to bed around 9 to 10 o'clock, and I wake up at 7 sharp. So that is my schedule. This is a Sunday, and I woke up at 7. Last night I went to bed around 9:30. It's the same thing every single day without fail, and that's how I've just been doing it for the last couple of months, and I've been feeling amazing. One of the things you should do is have a bedtime routine. So I would say no phone an hour before bed, and read a book or do some journaling, some reflective journaling. Allow yourself to decompress and think about the day. This is going to really help you just wind down, and when you actually hit the pillow, go to bed. Another necessary thing is blackout blinds and just being in a dark room. When I first came back to Florida, I'm looking at it right now, there's huge windows and there was no blinds on them. So I would wake up in the middle of the night actually just because of all the lights, and it's just bright. And it was really annoying actually coming from Sweden where I had blackout blinds. This was one of the first times I didn't sleep in a fully dark room, and I can definitely say it messes with your sleep. So having those blackout blinds, it instantly went away. I sleep throughout the night with no issues. Even if I just wake up quickly to go to the bathroom, I go right back to bed. Whereas otherwise you got all these lights coming in, it can be kind of annoying and distracting. So you want to be in a quiet, cold environment as well. Setting the AC to, I would say, at least 72 or lower. That's going to be probably the optimal range. And then just quiet. I mean, you can do as much as you can to optimize that. If you live in a noisy household or in a crazy college, you just got to try your best. You can maybe get some earplugs if you really needed to, but most of you should be fine on that one. And lastly, no caffeine about 8 to 10 hours before bed. I've made this mistake plenty of times. As a gym bro, I'll hit the gym later in the afternoon, have a cup of coffee, and then I'm up all night because I had that coffee. So just definitely avoid having caffeine later in the day. I've made that mistake one too many times. So diet. What are you going to want to eat to have an optimal diet? The whole foods like grass-fed ground beef or steaks, raw milk, salmon, chicken breast, rice, potatoes, avocados, raw honey, oats. These are all going to be amazing foods. If your diet consists of 80 to 90% whole foods, you are so far ahead. And if you're a man, these are the foods that are going to boost your testosterone. So I just gave you an example. This was a meal I had a long time ago, about 2 years ago. I don't take pictures of my meals too often, but I guess I did for some reason this day. So I had about, maybe 6 ounces of grass-fed ground beef, another 6 ounces of salmon, and then maybe half a packet, so I don't know exactly what it came out to, of brown rice. And that was just a really healthy meal. I mean, you're getting so many good things in here. And also the point I wanted to put this picture in for is the weight scale. That's going to go into the next thing we're going to talk about, which is tracking your calories. So that's going to be a cheat code, or a cheat code is going to be actually creating the meals and having those preloaded. So for example, if you liked, I don't know, let's just think of some meal. If you like to have steak and potatoes, you can use your weight scale and you'll know roughly about how big your steak is. And once you plug it in there, you know, okay, this is an 8-ounce steak, this is how big it is roughly, and this many potatoes is about 6 ounces. This meal consists of 600 calories, 50 grams of protein, and that's going to allow you just to have everything preloaded so you don't have to use the weight scale every time. If you're absolutely new to this, I would use the weight scale consistently, like kind of autistically, to learn the nutrition and how much food actually equates to what. I used the weight scale for the longest time, and now I don't have to because I've just learned it. It's like I know how much food is equated to what, amount of calories, amount of protein, and it's something I can mentally track with ease. I think that's ultimately the goal. I think you probably don't want to have to track everything for the rest of your life, but you need to go through a phase of learning the nutritional value of food and understanding how much you're actually consuming, because that's the biggest mistake people are going to make, is not knowing how much they're consuming, over-consuming, under-consuming, just not being in alignment with your goals. So if you're new to dieting and trying to optimize your health, you need to buy the weight scale. It's a non-negotiable. Every single one of my coaching clients who come on and they need help with fitness and health, they all buy the fitness scale and it changes their life. So using MyFitnessPal is going to be the way that you track on a consistent basis. You can have a look at the end of the day. How did you do at every week? And make sure you're in alignment with your goals. So you're going to want to create your goals either if you're trying to bulk, cut, or maintain, depending on your current situation. If you are looking like I was in that first picture of this, or the second picture on the slide, then if you're skinny, you need to gain muscle. Bulking is your way to go. If you are overweight, if you clearly have way too much fat, then you need to cut. And if you're kind of like I am now, it was in that first picture and the one with the abs, then you can maintain. You don't necessarily need to bulk or cut. I'm just in a maintenance phase. That's all I need to do is make sure I get my protein in, all the healthy fats, enough carbs, and hit the gym and consistently progressive overload and just constantly do my thing and have optimal health. So you just got to align your goals to wherever you're currently at, and these are my recommendations to optimize your diet. So now, having a morning routine is key to having a successful day. What I would recommend is no phone for the first hour of the day, and the absolute essentials is reading, meditating, and gratitude journaling. So I'll actually tell you a true story. It's probably about 6 months ago now, I first went back to Sweden. It was the summer, it was June. I just built a successful business. I was making about 8 to 15K a month profit to myself. I was high on life, and I didn't really think I needed a morning routine anymore, so I wasn't reading. I always meditated. That's one thing I stayed consistent with throughout all of my years, no matter what was going on. And I don't think I was really journaling, at least in the morning, doing any gratitude journaling. So I just was meditating, and then I would try and just do fun shit. Like, it was summer, I was making all this money. The time zone difference allowed me to have the entire morning to do what I wanted. So I would go jet skiing, I would hang out with my friends and go rock climbing. Just whatever I wanted to do was the priority. It was more about having fun. And that was the worst month that the business ever did. I think I went from a record month to an all-time low that the business ever did in the entire time I was running the business was June, because I was just prioritizing fun. I wasn't setting up my day right. I was just doing the absolute least amount to, set my mind right for that day, just meditating. I wasn't reading, wasn't gratitude journaling, just trying to seek pleasure and fun, and that led me to having the worst month ever. By the end of leaving Sweden, I had dialed in my morning routine to the point where I was reading for an hour, meditating for up to 20 to 30 minutes, and I'll dive into why it was so long in a second, and doing my gratitude journaling. I would do an ice bath where I went into, this was getting cold too, so just for context, it was September, October at this time when I dialed in my morning routine. I'm up in northern Sweden. As you can imagine, I'm near the Arctic Circle. At this time of the year, the water is freezing in the Baltic Sea. So I would jump into the ocean. I would meditate whilst I was in there, so I wouldn't have a timer, and I would just mentally do a meditation. It was a counting meditation where I would focus on counting each breath and then keep track of how many times I went to 10. So that was the meditation I did in there. And then I would go into the sauna that was already warmed up, and I would continue to meditate in there and use an app on my phone. I'm going to give you the 2 apps that I recommend in a second. And then I had some of the best months of my career in that business and just made some really good progress in many different things I was working on in life. So the morning routine is an absolute necessity. It's non-negotiable. Even if you were to read just 10 pages for 10 minutes or something like that, something small, it's still going to set your mind right. Meditating, absolute necessity. It's going to develop awareness. We're going to touch on this later. And gratitude journaling, once again, we're going to touch on this a little more in depth, but it's going to get you to a high frequency state where you're just emitting gratitude, one of the highest frequency energies and vibrations that you can give out, setting your day off right. So if you need help learning how to meditate, it's very simple. You're just going to download the app Medito or Breathwork, and basically you need to either focus on your breath, just the inhalation and the exhalation, and you don't want to focus on your thoughts. So you want to just kind of ignore your thoughts. Anytime a thought comes to mind, just reset back to the breath, and Breathwork is one that's going to help you more with the physical breaths, like it's actual breath work, like it states. Medito is more for the awareness side of things. So writing 3 to 5 things you're grateful for. One of the things one of my coaching clients said to me, he was like, when I first started, I didn't know what to say. I didn't have anything to be grateful for. So one trick you can use is if you're struggling, use a stoic practice of negative visualization. So imagine you lost your eyesight or your entire family died. You have so much to be grateful for. I want you to genuinely close your eyes and imagine you lost your eyesight. Think about all the things you've seen, all the beautiful girls, all the mountains, the landscapes, the beauty Earth has to offer. You know, your family, you can't see them anymore. You can't see anything. Now you can be grateful for your vision when you open your eyes again. So you always have something to be grateful for, or just something like your entire family died. I mean, you can be like, oh, I'm so grateful to have my family. Like if you genuinely for a second think about the fact that your family could die at any moment, and you could lose your eyesight in some crazy accident, you have so much to be grateful for. And this goes for every single thing. So, and then lastly, just the recommendation for reading. Read a self-improvement book in line with your goals or current obstacles that you're looking to overcome. For example, one of my coaching clients I just had a call with, he was struggling with discipline and just having kind of a killer mindset. So I recommended he read David Goggins' book, and he's loving it. So there's always going to be a book that's in alignment with what you're trying to work on, at this phase of your life, and that's what I would recommend reading. That's what I always look to do. So becoming high frequency, this is kind of what we were touching on with the gratitude. So here's a quote by Nikola Tesla. So it's if you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. And those are 3 of the most important things that you can learn to master. So here is going to be the emotion scale. So think about when you do something when you feel guilty. This is putting you in an extremely low vibration. If you feel pride, if you did something you're proud of, now you're halfway up the scale. If you feel love, you're high up there. And if you feel peace and enlightenment, you're at the top of the scale. Your goal is going to be to elevate yourself up on this scale as high as possible every single day. And that is the reason for the morning routine and all these practices, is they're going to put you in the highest frequency state on a consistent basis. See, none of the answers you seek will be found in a low frequency state. You need to constantly elevate yourself to those higher emotions if you want to feel good and you want to start manifesting the life of your dreams. So how do you get into a high frequency state? We were touching on this a little bit. A morning routine. This allows me to wake up, calm my mind, get some new knowledge, and emit gratitude to the world. That's pretty much what the reading, meditation, and journaling tackles. Then I like to do sauna and ice baths every day. It gets my mind sharp and focused, and it'll take even more time to live in my own reality away from my phone. That's one of the biggest things I would say, is the phone is going to bring you down. If you're scrolling on Instagram, I'm guilty of it. I use Instagram for work. But if you don't, I would highly recommend deleting it. My life was so much better when I didn't have the app. If you're looking at all these people, comparing yourself to guys who are making 100K, 200K a month, you're seeing the hottest girls and relationships and all this shit. And for people in different phases of their life, you need to worry about what you're doing right now, your phase of your life. You're building yourself as a man. You're building your value. You don't need to see other people who are successful in different metrics. The comparison is going to be the killer of your internal happiness. So here you can see, this is in Florida. I go and do my sauna every single morning as well as the ice bath. That is about an hour of my day as well, really just focused on my mind, becoming the best version of myself. The ice, oh my God, it boosts dopamine. It makes me feel so great. Same thing with the sauna, has so many health benefits. It's amazing for testosterone, really just gonna start your day off right. And then one of the last things to my daily routine that gets me in a high frequency state is what I'm doing right now, creating daily content. So it allows me to give, share knowledge. It makes me feel extremely happy and fulfilled, knowing I'm helping other people with things that I once needed help with in my journey. This is what makes me get to a super high frequency state like we looked at on that chart before. So if these are in alignment with you, if you feel that the morning routine I do is optimal, which I'd recommend, if you feel like ice baths and sauna is going to get you there and then creating daily content, I would honestly just recommend copying my routine. And we'll get into a little bit more about the daily content later. But yeah, I would really just recommend copying this. It's a proven system to work. It's a life elevation system that's allowed me to get everything I want out of life. So manifesting your dream life. The first thing you need to do is get very clear on where you want to go and what you want out of this life. This is where you start with manifesting. See, if you don't know where you're going, your subconscious mind is not going to know how to guide you there. One of the things is when you really set your intentions very clear on what you want, the subconscious mind will accept this and guide you to achieve this goal. This is in every single one of the books that I've read, Psycho-Cybernetics, all of Dr. Joe Dispenza's books with You Are the Placebo, the Superhuman, it's like You Are Superhuman, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, The Power of the Subconscious Mind by another author. All these books all talk about it in different metrics and ways, whether it's quantum physics, the subconscious mind, but every single book comes back to the fact that your subconscious mind is what allows you to manifest your dream life. And you need to be focusing on the things that you want. This is more from The Secret now. The Secret is another great book on manifesting. It's basically just stating that whatever you focus your attention on is what you tune your frequency to, and what the frequency you're tuned to is going to get spit back at you. Imagine a TV. If you change the channels, you're changing frequencies, and then boom, a new thing pops up on the screen every time. That's the same thing you can do with your life. If you start visualizing a life of traveling the world like I am there, hanging out with your boys, living your best life, that's what's going to get spit back at you. But if you're focusing on all the negative, all you're going to see is the negative. You're never going to see any of the opportunities to do all the great things that you want. So you just got to get really clear on what do you want out of life. That's going to be one of the best things that you can do, is really just build out a manifestation sheet going into extreme detail. I was thinking of putting it in here, but it was a little bit too personal. It was some of my manifestation sheets that I have a long time ago from Notion. And it's funny how time after time, these will come so extremely close to what I wanted them to be. So you have to be careful about what you want, because manifestation is very real and it will come nearly identical to as you write it if you truly put your heart and soul into achieving that goal. So be careful with what you write, because that will manifest into your reality if you work hard at it. If you follow all these steps, you will have all of it. So get very clear on what you want, write it down, and now your subconscious mind is going to guide you to achieve that goal. And here's the next and one of the most important things, is now you need to follow your intuition and only act on the things that are in alignment with your dream life. So your mind can be deceiving, right? This is where self-sabotage comes in, doing bad habits, but your intuition, your consciousness, and your heart will not lead you astray. And if you're confused about this and you haven't developed your intuition, a good way of knowing is looking back at the emotions. If you feel guilt, this is a great guiding emotion, because start recognizing what you've done to feel guilty. What actions led you to that state? Because I never feel guilty after doing an ice bath, sauna, hitting a gym session. But if I were to go watch porn all day, fucking eat junk food, and just waste away my days, yeah, I'd feel pretty guilty, right? So it all comes down to those things. It's like, it's so easy, it's so clear. Your intuition is going to guide you to your dream life. You know what you need to be doing, and if you are doing something that doesn't feel right, your gut and your intuition and your consciousness is going to tell you, right? One of the things is your mind is going to sometimes deceive you. So don't always trust your mind. The thoughts that you get, especially when you get emotional, when you get ramped up, those are not always going to be your best guiding thoughts, and this is something you'll learn to develop over time. But one of the best things I can recommend is using guilt as that guiding emotion to know what things are not in alignment. Sometimes you got to make those mistakes, but you should know for the most part what things are going to be good and what things are going to be bad to get towards your goals. So here is one of the most important things, is that action beats everything. Inaction is the biggest cause of every failure. Think about anyone who's failed at anything in life. Were they taking action? If they weren't, then they never even started, they never even did anything, you never heard of them, they never succeeded. So when you figure out what your dream life looks like, you need to take the steps to start achieving that dream life immediately. It's not tomorrow, it's not in the new year, it's not next month, it's right now. So the path is going to illuminate as you walk it. I'm going to give you my personal brand story. So I started this personal brand when I got to Sweden in June. It was about 6.5 months ago at this point. And at that point, like I told you earlier, I was running my high-ticket sales coaching business, which was making me $8 to $15K a month. But my true passion is self-improvement. So I was talking about self-improvement, talking about girls, dating, mindset, discipline, all this stuff on this channel. And I didn't really know how I was going to make money. I thought that I was going to attract in a broad audience of people who wanted to succeed, and then they might be interested in high-ticket sales, and they can buy my coaching program like that. I pretty much only got one sale for the high-ticket sales coaching program, and then 6 months later, once I left that behind and went on to pursue my personal brand full-time, doing the life coaching that I'm doing now, I actually started getting sales very quickly. Things changed pretty much overnight. As soon as I switched it all and actually made that switch from the high-ticket sales to my true passion of life coaching and switching my offer, I started getting sales consistently. So for this new thing, I didn't know when I started in June that this was going to be my path, but the path illuminates as you walk it. You just need to put in those reps day in and day out. So you're never going to know it all. There will never be a perfect moment to start. When I first started in Sweden, it wasn't the perfect moment. I could have started 2 months before. I could have started 6 months before. I just didn't have the confidence, which is a self-limiting belief and an excuse. But this is what I'm saying for all you guys, is just do it right now. There's never going to be that perfect moment. I wish I started it that 6 months ago, because I would be light years ahead now. So now is the best time to start anything. Anything you want, the gym, personal brand, your diet, talking to that girl. Right now is the moment to do it. So what I want you to do as an action step for this video is act on everything you learned so far in this video. I want you to rewatch it, pause, create your dream life with all the necessary steps from the ground up, starting with health, and then actually do it day in and day out. So mentorship, this is huge, because mentorship is a cheat code to learning skills as fast as humanly possible. This is why I've invested over $30K into mentorship in the last 6 months. A mentor is going to bridge the gap for you between where you're at now and where you want to be. And knowledge is the most powerful thing that you can obtain. So if you were to give me an ultimatum of going back to when I was 19 years old, if you guys don't know, that's when I got broken up with. I pretty much had nothing going for me at that point in my life. And if you were to give me a choice between $500,000 or all of the knowledge I've gained in the last 3 years, I would take the knowledge day in and day out. And it's not because I would buy some crypto coin. It's because what I've learned about these skills, sales, communication, just so many things about personal branding, I would be 10 times richer. I would have 5 million, genuinely. Genuinely have 5 million if you gave me all that knowledge and let me go back to 19. It would be crazy. So if you want help with any of the things we went over in this call, then you can book a free one-on-one coaching call with me. The link is going to be down below in the description. It's a Calendly link, book it in, and I'll be excited to speak to you in there, and I'd be happy to help you on your path and see where you're at now, what you want to achieve, and give you some actionable steps in order to achieve that. So, and then we're going to keep going though. What are the best skills to develop? Communication. This is one that's 10x my life. Learning sales, developing clear and concise speaking, storytelling. Communication is how you're going to interact with the world. 99% of everything you do comes from human interaction. All the money, all the girls you want, all the high value guys that you want to network with, you're going to get everything through communication. It's going to be extremely difficult for you to sleep with a girl without talking to her. So this is the foundation. Learning communication is an absolute necessity. Beyond this, emotional intelligence, your listening skills, your empathy, social dynamics, really just understanding humans as a whole, like this goes into communication, but now a level deeper, is super, super important. Another thing that's going to be extremely valuable for you is discipline and consistency. So daily habits like reading, going to the gym, sticking to your diet, these are all going to help you develop that. Ice bath, sauna, doing those things, right? That's how you're going to develop discipline, and it's really just going to help you 10x your life. Discipline is one of the most important things that I've developed to get to where I'm at today. So this is one of the things that's more cool, is solo travel, like independence, being able to go to any city in the world alone confidently. For example, this past summer when I was in Sweden, I was in my mom's hometown, that's a little smaller, but just an hour north, there's a much bigger city. And I kind of got tired of my hometown, so I'd take the train up to the bigger city, and I would go party there all by myself. I'd just show up on the train, get a hotel, walk to the club, be in line in the club, making friends, and they're all like, who are you here with? And I'm like, myself, bro. I'm here. It's me. I'm having a great time. And everyone's just like, holy shit, this dude's the man. Like, you'd be surprised. I had so many self-limiting beliefs about going out by myself, traveling the world, and they're like, you just show up in this town by yourself? And I'm like, yeah, of course. What am I going to do? I'm traveling alone. Who am I going to come with? Myself. And they're just like, oh shit, he's got just extreme confidence. Because if you come out and you're like, oh, I'm traveling alone, I'm nervous, I'm scared, no one's going to respect that. Maybe some girl will give you pity, but she's not going to want to sleep with you. If you're just like, who are you here with? Alone, myself. They're just like, oh shit. They're like, you're not scared? I'm like, what am I going to be scared? What is there to be scared of? And then it's just like, you just be the man. And if you can solo travel confidently, that's going to be a huge thing to develop. Because the truth is, it wasn't always like this. I was scared at first to go out by myself. When I traveled to Sweden the first time, went out alone, I had nervousness. I was scared, man. But you develop this, and now you just build that unshakable confidence. So solo travel is just going to teach you so much about cultures, about different people. It's just going to open your eyes to the world that we live in and get you out of your narrow-mindedness of wherever it is you live, especially if you've like never left your hometown. I would say fuck money. You need to get out of that hometown and get some life experiences beyond that little scope of the world that you've experienced. So it is actually a very undervalued skill to develop, which is travel, and solo travel specifically, because it's going to force you to become it's just going to force you to expand your comfort zone so much. Next is awareness and mindfulness, and this is developed with meditation. Networking, this is going to be how to build and nurture valuable relationships, extremely important in your life. And then time management, setting goals and actually achieving them and using your time wisely. Because a lot of people will set goals and then they never go on to achieve them. So this is where time management comes in. It's just using your time wisely, setting structured goals. That's going to be extremely valuable for you. And how to make money online. So the absolute best way is going to be personal branding, hands down. After trying every single business model out there, there's not one that I would favor more than personal branding. You are genuinely living for a living. It doesn't get better than this. And how do you start your personal brand? You're going to ask yourself this question. What would you do with your life if you had all the money in the world and needed to fill your time? And that's your personal brand. My answer was a self-improvement focused day, traveling the world, going to do physical activities like hiking, rock climbing, skiing, surfing, and meeting and dating gorgeous girls. And when I wanted to travel with my boys, as you saw in that picture earlier. My good friend in Sweden, he goes rock climbing with me, we do hiking. That is my dream life. So how was I able to realize this? Well, starting a men's self-improvement YouTube channel, teaching all my life experiences and lessons I've learned. So it's really that simple. But you need to first figure out those questions, and this is going to give you that guiding star of knowing what to actually build your personal brand on. So, when starting a personal brand, so you can see the subscribers now, but if you look at my oldest videos, I don't know what I was doing here. A personal brand is you, right? I don't know why I was putting Mike Tyson, Jordan Belfort, Will Smith, but I had no idea what to do. I was just like, oh, well, this is like a transformation that people will understand, the pursuit of happiness to bad boys, how to handle being broke and what to do about it. So 34 views, no wonder that shit didn't get any views. Eventually, at least I started putting some of my pictures up, which is good. But still, you can see my first videos got very few views, like 100 or less, 30, 40, 30. So your first videos are always going to be the hardest. If you wait for the perfect moment or the perfect video, you're never going to do it. So you just need to start somewhere. And consistency beats perfection every time. So what I want you to do is make 100 long-form videos. And once you've done that, you'll be able to analyze all that data and make improvements. You'll be making improvements along the way, week to week. But really having that large basis of videos that's just over 3 months to see what is working, what isn't working. This is going to give you enough data to analyze and then improve off of. And just a disclaimer, starting a personal brand is going to take a long time unless you get very lucky. So prepare for it, like not to just be an overnight success. If you blow up on your first video, consider yourself extremely lucky because it's probably going to take about 3 to 6 months to make money, and that's if you do everything the right way. I made money from my personal brand about 5 to 6 months in because I was doing things the wrong way. Of course, the foundation I was building helped me have the success I started having now with my life coaching because it's in alignment. But what I was trying to do with the high ticket sales wasn't in alignment. It wasn't working. So I didn't make money for the first 5 to 6 months. You can make money within the first 3 months if you do everything the right way. And once again, if you need help with starting a personal brand, this is also one of the things that we can discuss in that free coaching call. So that is the best way to make money online. That is going to be all for this video. So now you are ready to master your life. And if you stayed to the end, you're a real one. So you either have 2 choices from here, is to go about this alone and try and master your life all by yourself and make a lot of the mistakes I did, or you can just get a mentor that can help you with this entire process from A to Z and allow you to make years of progress in just months' time. So if you're interested with getting my help in anything or everything we covered, then book a free 30-minute coaching call with me below. Thank you guys for watching till the end. Have a great day, everyone.